Ken Trahan with Lenny Vangilder. It's our First NBC Bank weekend preview brought to you by First NBC Bank with 32 locations throughout the greater New Orleans area and beyond. That's First NBC Bank, proud sponsor of SportsNola.com. Busy weekend starts with high school football. The high school football weekend started on Thursday, continues on Friday with a host of very good games, including our First NBC Bank Prep Showcase game. The John Ehret Patriots, last year a regional playoff team, and very good again this year against Helen Cox and their outstanding quarterback, Dion Ray. Live at SportsNola.com, Friday night, 7 p.m., and shown Saturday at noon on WHNO TV 20. Good West Bank neighborhood rivalry.
You know, you got 4 schools on the West Bank, and anytime you get any of those 4 together, it makes for some entertaining football. And a lot of these guys grew up playing on the playgrounds together, or have, known each other for a long time, and they get together, and it's a lot of fun. And as you know, Ken, a lot of talent over the years has come out of the West Bank to go on to college football, to go on to the NFL. It's John Ehret's having a good year. Helen Cox not so good, but even with a Helen Cox team, they've got 3 guys headed on to play Division I football in the state next year, including Ray, as you mentioned, a UL Lafayette commitment. Yeah,
terrific weekend card again. Saturday afternoon, we have the Holy Cross Tigers and the St. Augustine Purple Knights on WGSO 990 AM. And then Saturday night, a simulcast of the big game between Rummel and Jesuit from Joe Yenny Stadium at 7 p.m. You can watch it live at SportsNola.com. Listen to it on WGSO 990 AM. A couple of very good Catholic school games here.
Yeah, it should be a great weekend on the Catholic school front. And, certainly that Rummel Jesuit game will wrap it up on Saturday night, and that is a huge one. Jesuit playing very well, and obviously Rummel as well, ranked number 1 in the state in Class 5A.
All right, so that takes us to college football and Tulane, Yulman Stadium on Halloween night against Cincinnati. And when you look at Tulane at this point in time, I guess the biggest thing is who will their quarterback be, because they play very good defense. They've run the ball well recently, but they just haven't thrown it well enough, and that's where Tanner Lee comes in.
Yeah, that will make a big difference if Lee is healthy enough to go on Halloween night a week from now when Cincinnati comes to town. And this reminds me a lot of what we saw in 2013 in terms of how Tulane has played the last 2 weeks. Good defense, running the ball, forcing turnovers. Those are the types of things that we saw that made for a very good combination for Tulane a year ago. Can they continue to do that? They've still got 5 games to go. If they play like they've played the last 2 weeks through these last 5 games, I think they stand a reasonable chance of, winning maybe 3, maybe 4 of them, get themselves in a position to be 6-6 and bowl eligible. It seemed far-fetched a while ago, but who knows? You play like this, those are the types of things that will win you football games.
While Tulane rests, LSU plays, and do they ever, against the number 3 team in the nation and the Ole Miss Rebels, Saturday night at Tiger Stadium at 6:15, and Ole Miss is a slight favorite. Not much. LSU with revenge on their minds, and the question is, can LSU summon up the kind of effort they summoned up against Kentucky? Because if they can win.
Certainly, Saturday night in Tiger Stadium, you never know. We've seen, we've seen plenty of, high-ranked teams come into Tiger Stadium on Saturday nights before, and leave not so fortunate, if you will. So, can Les Miles' team pull off that kind of effort? If they play like they did against Kentucky, Ole Miss is much better than Kentucky, but if LSU plays like they did against Kentucky, the complete game effort, offense, defense, and don't forget special teams, they stand a very good chance of walking out of there with a W.
Ole Miss, a signature win at home against Alabama. This one's on the road in a tough environment. We'll see how that shakes out, because this will be a tougher game for them. And as I mentioned, LSU with revenge on its mind. They lost at Ole Miss last year when they were a favorite and did not get it done. As for the Saints, they get the national television audience as well. That's a Sunday night game against the Green Bay Packers. And we keep saying it every week. Can the Saints get it done? Is their season on the brink? And because of their division, it's not on the brink. And they've got a team coming in that's red hot, but they've got them at home where they haven't lost in quite some time.
Right, and that's the big thing. The game is at home. They are a slight favorite, even though they are a 2-4 football team playing a Green Bay team, arguably playing better than anyone in the NFL at this point. Aaron Rodgers has been sensational the last 4 weeks, 13 touchdowns and no interceptions. They've got to do something to disrupt Rodgers a little bit. And obviously, when you are at home, you got the crowd noise. The defense is going to play a little bit better. Perhaps they can generate some of that pressure to try to slow down that Green Bay offense. You think Green Bay and you think gaudy offensive numbers, but this is a Green Bay team that even what they've done here the last 4 weeks, they're not ranked very highly in the NFL. Kind of surprised you. The Saints have continued to put up big offensive numbers, at least in terms of yards, maybe not as much on the point side. And I think a lot of that has got to do with the fact that so many times this year they've had to drive 80-plus yards down the field because they haven't gotten takeaways until the Detroit game when they got 2. And as we mentioned on Monday, the first time all year, the Saints have started a drive on the opponent's side of the 50-yard line in Week 6. That is crazy.
I guess the question for the Saints would be who plays, because injuries certainly are a factor heading into this one.
Yeah, we obviously know at this point Pierre Thomas will not play. In my mind, it's the biggest question mark might be Kyrie Robinson. If Robinson can't go, now you're talking about just having Mark Ingram, Travaris Cadet as your backs. And Ingram's just 1 week back in the lineup after being out a month with a hand injury. You get that Mark Ingram, Eddie Lacy storyline here with those two guys who were teammates and shared the backfield load at Alabama on their national championship team on different sides for this one. But, you're right. And how effective will Jimmy Graham be? Now he's, he played 30 snaps, only got targeted twice in the Detroit game. How effective will he be in this game?
Good question. We'll find out Sunday night, Mercedes-Benz Superdome. Should be a good football weekend. We look forward to it. Lenny, as always, thanks for the visit.
All right, we'll see you Monday.
That's our First NBC Bank weekend preview, brought to you by First NBC Bank with 32 locations throughout the greater New Orleans area and beyond. That's First NBC Bank, proud sponsor of SportsNola.com. For Lenny, I'm Kenny. Have a great weekend, and God bless you.